Hi everyone, Alex, BIMitUp here. Today we're going to be learning how to create a pipe type in Revit MEP, particularly how to create a sanitary drainage pipe type. For this we're going to be using the Schedule 40 PVC pipe fittings out of the box from Revit. And they're the DWV fittings, which stands for drainage, waste, and vent. See you in Revit. Alright, so let's fire up Revit MEP. So we encounter our startup dialog box here. We want to create a new project because remember today we're going to be learning how to create pipe types. This particular pipe type is going to be a drain, vent, and waste pipe type for plumbing. So let's create a new project here. New project. Now we're selecting our template. Remember, you need to choose wisely at the beginning because the you could start with any template and you will get it done, but you want to be as efficient as possible. So if you selected, for example, a structural template, it's going to be a very uphill battle. Even a mechanical template, which is pretty similar to plumbing, may take you a lot more work than simply just going to a plumbing template, which we have right here. So let's select this one, and it just opened, and let's explore a little bit to see what we have available. So our pipes are families, so let's go under families. Here are pipes, and then we have our pipe types. So let's see what we have available right fresh out of the box. We have a standard and we have a PVC, actually DWV, so drain, waste, and vent. So it seems like we're up for a good start. Let's explore what this has. Let's go to type properties, and here under routing preferences, which is equivalent to pipe types. Remember, if you haven't seen the first pipe types or routing preferences videos, I'm going to include a link in the description. So if you want to go back to that one and see that one first, that's an option. So under routing preferences, we go to edit, and this is what's telling Revit which type of pipe segment and elbows and junctions you want to use when you're routing your pipe. So in this case, we already have one selected here. Under elbow, we have the bend PVC Schedule 40 DWV standard. And we have this one set up for all the sizes because Revit offers you the option to have a minimum size and a maximum size so that you can include, let's say, one type of elbow for half-inch to 2-inch pipes, and then a different type of elbow for larger pipes. We're gonna get into it a little bit deeper in a later video, or maybe in this one. We'll see how it goes. So we already have an elbow selected. We have a junction selected. Notice that the preferred junction type here is T, because we can have junctions as a T, or you could have a tap, like a welded outlet, for example. In this case, we're going to leave T, and we have as cross. We have nothing right now. So let's take a look at what we have. Let's start piping. So to start piping, I'm going to go under Systems, and then I'm going to go under Pipe. The keyboard shortcut is PI. So let's start our piping here. I'm going to start with a 4-inch pipe, and let's say I'm routing it on the ceiling space of the first floor. So I'm on level 1, and let's start drafting. Notice that right now all I see, I'm doing horizontal piping. We're gonna do a different video on slope pipes, but for now what I want you to see is that we have single line right now. I think it's gonna be better for us if we change this to fine, and that way we can see which type of elbows we're using. Now notice that when I started piping, the pipe type that was selected by default was the standard. That's not what I want to use. I could use that. We could actually start customizing this standard pipe type or create a copy of it and start from scratch. And you know what? Let's actually do that. That's going to be a lot more fun. So, and you're going to learn a lot more. So let's go here and duplicate this pipe type, and instead of standard 2, I'm going to rename this, and let's call it BIMitUp PVC drainage. Okay, so let's start piping using our brand new pipe type called BIMitUp PVC drainage. So let's go to our keyboard shortcut PI, and let's keep it at 10 feet above finished floor of level 1. You know, we're in the ceiling space of level 1, and let's keep it horizontal. Let's not deal with slopes yet. We have a 4-inch pipe. That looks good. And let's start studying what this is. So it included an elbow. This elbow here, we can see that it's a welded generic standard. So it seems that's not what we're looking for. So how do we change that? We would have to go here into our type properties, and then under routing preferences, we're going to go edit. And then, oh, look at that. The pipe segments even, that's copper, type K. That's not what we want. We want drainage. So let's see what we have available. Oh, look at that. We have the PVC schedule 40. So that sounds good. Here are the sizes, the available sizes for the PVC pipe segment that we're choosing. Now we need to select an elbow. The elbow that they have is a welded generic standard. That's not what we want. So, oh, look at that. We already have it within the project. Why? Because we chose the plumbing template. Had we chosen an electrical template, you would have had to import that family, which we're gonna do, not a big deal. But for now, we have it available, so let's just choose it. Now the preferred junction type, we're gonna keep T, because we want to introduce a T whenever two pipes are joining perpendicularly. You know, you don't want a welded outlet, for example. We want a PVC T. We don't want the generic standard. Let's choose the sanitary T, schedule 40. We're gonna get a little bit deeper into that a little bit later. But for now, let's just keep it like that, and let's see what happened. Now, when I create a new pipe and I do the turn, notice that the elbow that's being introduced is that bend that we chose under the routing preferences. Similarly, if I want to create a pipe that is perpendicular to the one that I had, it introduced the T, the sanitary T that we talked about. Now, this is something interesting. I'm going to try to connect this. This was a 4-inch pipe, and the pipe that it was connecting to was also a 4-inch pipe. So let's say instead of a 4-inch, I am connecting a 3-inch pipe, right? Which is pretty common. So, so look at that. It, well, not only it put it in the wrong direction, but it also introduced this reducer here. And that's a welded reducer. That's definitely not what I want. So let me go back to my routing preferences here, and see here the transition is set up as welded. We definitely don't want that. Let's get our PVC reducer. But let's take it one step further. because what I would really like here is not to have a 4 by 4 by 4 T with a reducer to 3. That's not what I want. What I want is a reducing T, because I know they're available, like I've seen in the Charlotte catalogs, for example. So I actually came to a Home Depot website because I want to show you that this is what I want. See, that T has a 3 by 3 by 1.5 inch configuration, and that's what we would like to have. Similarly, they have 3 by 3 by 2, 4 by 4 by 3. So let's go with that. So we're back in Revit, and notice that if I wanted to do that same thing again with the 3-inch pipe, I'm going to change this to 3, and I'm going to connect. Notice that the reducer that is introducing is the one that we want, the PVC. But we said that we didn't want that. What we want is an actual reducing T. So how do we do that? Well, we simply go to our type properties, and then under routing preferences, we go to edit. And then under T, right, we don't want this one. We want the reducing T. But how do we load that family? Well, you have several options, but thankfully Revit has come a long way, and now they have this load family right here from the routing preferences menu. So we can click here, and it takes you directly to wherever you want to load your families from. That's typically located in a local file under Program Data, Autodesk, the Revit version that you're using, libraries, US Imperial. In my case, I'm using US Imperial. If you're using Metric, you would go to Metric. And then here we'll go under Pipe, Fittings. We want to go under PVC, Schedule 40, Socket Type, and we want to go under DWV. Remember, that stands for Drainage, Waste, and Venting. And here, let's see if we can find that reducing T. So here it is, T, reducing sanitary. So let's choose this one. There we go. Notice that we just loaded it into the project. We haven't selected it yet. So under junction, you want to drop down and get the T reducing sanitary, and let's click OK. And now let's try that little exercise again. I'm gonna just stretch this a little bit, and now I bring my pipe, make sure it's a 3-inch, perfect. And boom, what we have now is 4 inches on this side, 4 inches on this side, and 3 inches on this side. And if we click on our fitting, you can see that we have the T reducing sanitary PVC. So let's complete our pipe routing preference, or our pipe type. So let's go to type properties, edit, and let's see what else we have missing. So we have our pipe segment here, that's good. We have our elbow, we have our T selected. For cross we have nothing. So let's see what we can do here. So let me hit cancel here. So in Revit, if you want to upgrade a fitting, for example, from an elbow to a T, you would click on the elbow and click on the plus sign, and that would change that elbow into a T. And the same way, if you want to upgrade a T into a cross, then you would click that plus sign. And notice that when I click here, what was introduced is this cross welded generic, cross that has nothing to do with what I want to do, because I'm doing drainage. So let's hit undo, and let's go back to our pipe types, and we have several options for crosses, but for now we don't have them loaded, so we have to go back to our load family. And then here you'll probably not find it under cross, because that's not how the fitting is commercially called. It's actually a double sanitary T, and we have it right here, T double sanitary. So let's select it, we loaded it, and again we're doing this one by one, The most efficient way of doing this would be for you to create a list of fittings that you or your company want to use, and then just go into that folder that I just showed you, load all your families, and then just select them all. But this is a training exercise we're learning, so let's do it step by step so that we cement those concepts. So let's see what happened with our cross now. If I click on my T and I want to upgrade to a cross, so what happened? We have not selected that in our routing preferences, even though we loaded it. So let's keep that in mind. So we're here, and then under cross, I'm going to click on my T double sanitary. So let's try that one more time. Now if I click on my T, boom, I get my cross, which is a double sanitary T. Now let's see what else we have missing here. If I go under routing preferences again, we already have all this. We have a transition. We have a generic union, but we will probably want to have a PVC coupling there. So here it is. And again, if you don't have this because you started with the mechanical template, it's not a big deal. You just load it from that folder. And then under flange, we're not going to select anything because it's not a flange pipe type. We'll have another video on flange pipe types, and I will include that link in the description of the video. But definitely we don't want a welded cap because we're doing PVC. So let's see if we have anything else available here. Yes, we do. We have a PVC plug, and it seems like we have a decent thing going on. So let's just take it for a test run and see how this is working. So let's go with a 4-inch pipe, for example, and now let's try our T. Yeah, it's connecting very well. This is a reducing T. Notice that if I were to change this from 3 to 4, it's a very smooth transition. Nothing breaks. Let's try to upgrade our T into a cross. Perfect. We got our double reducing, our double sanitary T. Let's try our elbows. Definitely, we're doing well with elbows. And here's something very important. Notice that Revit automatically, he knows that if you're turning a 45-degree angle, he's going to introduce a 45-degree fitting and a 90-degree angle and 90-degree fitting. But if you look a little bit closely, this and this are exactly the same fitting. And if you were to study it, the fitting has a parameter that's called angle, and it just bends depending on which angle you're trying to accomplish with your piping. So it would be nice if we were able to do something similar with a Y, because many of the connections in plumbing are going to be at a 45-degree angle. So look at that. It did. So it doesn't matter if you're coming out at a 90-degree angle or at a 45-degree angle. This guy and this guy are exactly the same fitting. So keep that in mind. Now let's take this one step further. How about if I want to have several options for my T's and my elbows and all that? I would just come here. For example, if you want to use a long bend elbow because you're doing horizontal piping or you're changing from vertical to horizontal, you don't want to do a short bend. You want to do a long radius elbow there. So right now we don't have it. So let's just load it. We go into here and let's see, there we go, bend long sweep. So let's select it, and now what we can do is we can keep the short one by default if you want, because that takes less space. But then if you're doing something horizontally or changing to horizontal, you want to have that option available. So let's just add it here, and then long sweep, and we'll do something similar for the crosses. Let's add here the combination Y. It's a combo fitting that has a Y and an eighth of bend, which is simply an elbow. So let's go pick that one here. So here it is, combination with 8 bend. So let's select that and let's add it here. And finally, for the cross, we're going to do something similar. We want the double Y combination fitting. So let's come here. Here it is, double. Let's add it. Seems like we're good to go now. Let's test it out a little bit. One thing that you can do is just take an existing T, for example, and let's see what we have available. Notice that I have this constrain to routing preferences checked, and the advantage of that is that if you have it unchecked, you would get a list of all the fittings that you have loaded in the project that comply with that characteristic, which is being a T. So you could have welded, threaded, grooved, and it's a waste of time to go through them. So what you want to do is check this box here. And that's a nice tip because that way you're only being presented with the, the, the pipe fittings that you chose on your routing preferences. So right now we see the a combination with eighth bend. So let's change to that. Excellent. So it's working like a charm. And the same way, if we wanted to change this to a double combination Y, we could easily do that simply by clicking here. And again, you can set your default preferences to whatever you want. It depends on your workflow. I particularly like to keep small fittings by default. And then if I have the space, I make sure I have the space first, and then I change it to the fitting that I really want. I think we're good. Let's actually delete this thing. We don't need that anymore. We know how to create it. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure you like it down there, subscribe to the channel, hit that bell so you get notifications. Thank you for watching, and see you on the next video.